Hello, good morning. I need an IT department. Apart from that, I hope you're having a wonderful Monday and thank you for joining me. And congratulations for joining me to get more from your career and more from your teams in just 10 minutes. So today I'm talking about 5 mistakes that I see people making in their careers. And now's probably a good time to talk about the difference between a career and a job so that we're on the same page. So to me, a job is the current role that you're in, the current targets you need to meet, the current opportunities you have, whereas your career is the longer term plan. So a job is like a building block and the pathway of your career. And the idea is that when you think about your career, you're thinking a bit bigger picture so that you can have a wonderful journey in life. You could be really great at your job, but not doing any favors to your career. This is the pilot principle. Now, the pilot principle defines the 4 key pillars so that you can be propelled along in your career. And you might be over-indexing here, which is skill. That means you're doing a fantastic job. You're really good. People love working with you because you're getting them results. But if you're not working on the other pillars, you might not be feeling fulfilled, and you might not move ahead in your career. You might not be recognized or valued. You're basically a great workhorse. So today, a lot of the mistakes I see tend to be in this area of self-leadership or support, and I'll go into more of that now. So we're talking about making moves in your career, which means strategic thinking rather than tactical thinking, not just hitting your targets and hoping for the best. So let's get started. Mistake number 1 that I see people making is not being clear on where you want to go and why, and not having a bigger picture plan. You might be looking at your career as a series of separate moves. Which promotion can you get next? Which company can I move to next? You're kind of on autopilot. But like I said, you might not be feeling fulfilled here. And the problem with this is you wouldn't book a holiday without knowing where you want to go, right? So if you don't know where you want to get to, how do you get there? Working with more purpose increases your resilience, your sense of satisfaction, and helps you deal with obstacles more easily. And you can't work with purpose if you don't know what your purpose is and you haven't taken time to reflect on it. So here's what to do instead. Take some time to think further ahead in your career, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, however long you've got left. I'm not a fan of having a really rigid 10-year plan, for example. Definitely have some wiggle room, but you do want to know the direction that you're heading in. Problem number 2 is not being really clear on your unique value proposition and how you're different to other people. All of us have a unique background, perspective, personality, and skill set. So even doing the same job as your peers, you'll be doing it differently, even if you hit the same targets. And you might not be clear on this, which means you can't help others to see it either. The problem with this is you might get stuck doing work you aren't good at. Big warning, there is no way to do well in your job or career if you're not good at your job. Another problem that could happen is that you get stuck doing work that you're good at, but you don't enjoy. And that can be really draining and tiring and lead to burnout. And of course, you're not going to be happy with it. So here's what to do instead. Get to know the tools and resources you have available. And what I mean by that is your unique strengths, your experience, your skill set. Those things are what make you uniquely valuable. And it means that once you understand it yourself, you can communicate that value out more, do more work that suits you well, and have more impact on other people. This is how you get valued and recognized. If you've been thinking, no one understands what I do and no one recognizes me, have you helped them to see it yourself first? If you don't know, how can your boss know? Mistake number 3, not activating your network. So that could be your boss, your peers at work, industry colleagues, mentors, and coaches. You might be plugging away, trying to do well at your job and build a full career. But if it's all done online or anonymously and you don't get any feedback, that can be really, really disheartening. The problem is it can be really lonely trying to build something without any help. Mentors and coaches have been there and done that. It's like a cheat code to do better more quickly. So here's what to do instead. Start speaking to others about what you want to do. So the more eyes you have open for opportunities for you, the more ideas that people share with you and that you share with them, the more support you have, the more of those great opportunities are going to come your way from all different places. Also, learn to communicate in a way that makes it easy for your support network to say yes to you. So if you're asking someone for a favor, help them see how maybe it helps them, what's in it for them as well. Mistake number 4 that I tend to see is when you have that voice in your head that's saying, I'm not good enough, or who am I to do that? Or one day they're going to find me out and realize I don't know what I'm doing. That voice is what a lot of people call imposter syndrome. The mistake is not to have the voice, because it's actually really, really normal to have it. So don't worry if it's there. The mistake is allowing that voice to take the lead and taking it as gospel truth. From my research that I did earlier this year, 75% of people are happy with their careers and said imposter syndrome was their biggest challenge. And that might sound strange to you if you're not happy in your career, but those people, they care about their careers because they're building something exciting and they're making big changes. So those two conditions are a breeding ground for imposter syndrome, when you really care about something and when you're making changes and stepping out of your comfort zone. The problem is that as humans, we have a very advanced brain that helps us plan ahead and imagine the future and make decisions. But we also have a kind of, that part I like to call the wizard brain, thinking ahead and imagining and creating new futures. We also have the lizard brain, which is very primal, and it's just about keeping us safe. It manages our stress response, fight or flight. It manages our fear. So that lizard thinks that changing things and getting out of our comfort zone is actually very scary. So if we let that little lizard make decisions for us, we'll be stuck doing the same things forever. And that's very boring. So here's what to do instead. That 75% of people are not allowing the voice to take over completely. Otherwise, they wouldn't be happy with their careers. It's time to work on managing the physical stress you might feel that our lizard is giving us. Stretch your comfort zone bit by bit. We're not talking about jumping off a cliff. We're talking about stretching our comfort zone slightly and updating that little lizard with a new identity so it knows who you are and where you're going. Final mistake, number 5, that I see people making is waiting until they're desperate to make changes to do all of this work. For example, people that have just been made redundant or are leaving or trying to leave a toxic environment. It can feel really great, swimming along in a comfortable job, doing things you know how to do and working with people that you understand. When you feel like that, you don't feel a need to do all of this work. But the problem is that the world of work is getting more and more volatile. Redundancies are not uncommon. Unfortunately, many travel companies barely support their people managers to learn the skills that they need. So working with a difficult boss is also common. But it's hard to think creatively when you're under that stress. If you've just been made redundant, for example, our confidence is likely to take a knock, right? Or if you're dragging yourselves into work every day with someone that is not a good fit for you as a boss, it's really hard to think creatively. You might then therefore let your standards slip. You might accept something that's less than great for you just to get out of the current situation you're in. It's out of the frying pan into the fire. So here's what to do instead. The best time to do this work is when you're in a good place and you're excited to get more rather than escape a bad situation. It might feel less urgent, but it means that you'll approach it in a more open-minded way, have more headspace to do the work well, and start to magnetize the right opportunities before you even need them. You want to be attracting the good and repelling what's not for you, so that every decision in your job and career is going towards the stuff you've decided you want, not taking you off track. If you'd like to avoid all of these 5 mistakes, my career coaching manifest will help you with that. I'm looking for 5 people to join my November cohort. If you sign up by today, 3rd of November 2025, you'll be included in a group clinic call 1 month after the program, so you can see what other travel industry professionals are doing with the tools and make sure you get that extra bit of support. Doors close by 12th of November, and if you want to have a quick chat and see if we're a good fit, then feel free to drop me a note or book in a call. Thank you and have a great week.